In the headlines, government defends its investment in the importation of milk-producing cows. The 2025 sugar harvest gets underway. Nearly 600 units handed over under the National Housing Corporation's transfer program. And in sports, Dr. Shallow unopposed for the second term at the helm of Cricket West Indies.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening to you and welcome. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to the news. Government is tonight defending its decision to invest $2 million in importing 180 pregnant calves from Canada to help save the struggling dairy industry. This is coming amid criticisms highlighted in another section of the media regarding the move, while at the same time stakeholders in the dairy industry are confident the country should start reaping the gains of the imported animals in short order. The current status of the dairy industry was discussed today at a joint press conference. Our Anesta Henry was there.
All checks and balances were put in place to ensure the animals which arrived on the island last December came from an environment which is disease-free and has a reputation of producing quality herds. This assurance is coming from Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security, Terry Bascom. Mr. Bascom says the ministry left it up to the experts in the dairy industry to research where the cow should come from before a suitable decision was made to ensure the investment reaps the intended rewards.
I don't think that the ministry would have been advised to bring cows from Canada if they felt, as specialists within the area, that cows coming from Canada would not have survived. It just does not make sense. So sometimes I think we have to let common sense be our guide, quite frankly, and to have some patience and demonstrate some confidence in the players in the industry. They certainly know better than I do, and we take guidance from them before we act.
Head of the Barbados Beef and Dairy Association, Patrick Butcher, says the animals are now out of quarantine and have been distributed to the respective farms, with the expectation that the island's milk production will be boosted in short order.
The vast majority of the animals that have been imported, they are scheduled to calve between the months of March, April, and May. So we expect that certainly by the end of March, going into April, you will see a significant increase in the production. And by the time June rolls around, when most of them would have started to peak production, is when you will start to see the real production of the animals.
People, Legal and Corporate Affairs Manager at Banks Holdings Limited, Lisa Ridley Paul, says Pine Hill Dairy has been tracking the animals from the time they arrived on the island. Just to correct some of the information that we've heard, they came in with all of their certificates. The cows were pregnant. We've heard that some of them weren't. That is completely erroneous. We have all the certification. We understand that some have already calved. They were brought in at different stages of pregnancy so that the farmers could deal with it in a methodical, process-oriented manner. Stakeholders are hoping the dairy industry reaches the point where it produces 300,000 liters of milk monthly. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Pine Hill Dairy continues its efforts to get some milk products back on shelves in a sustainable manner. In this regard, the manufacturing company will be releasing whole milk into the market today, Tuesday, while cartons of 2% milk are expected to hit the shelves later this week.
Well over 1,000 cases of both, I believe. But again, how quickly will that be consumed? I can't say, because you know what happens in times of scarcity.
And in more from People, Legal and Corporate Affairs Manager Lisa Ridley Paul, she says Pine Hill Dairy's production of its evaporated milk under the brand Sun Gold will be boosted since the company has been able to source new contracts for the milk powder.
So our 2025 milk powder needs are going to be met. The issue now is when they get into Barbados, right? Some of the containers have arrived, and I believe in speaking to our plant manager that we should be out on the shelf on a sustainable basis from middle to end of March. I'd probably say end of March to be safe.
The 2025 sugarcane harvest kicked off today, Tuesday. Harvesting of cane started on plantations across the island as the Portville Sugar Factory opens its gates for business. Manager at Edgecombe Plantation, St. Philip, Richard Mears, tells CBC News work actually started at that location on Monday to ensure all systems were go.
So he filled up 2 trucks yesterday and filled back the 2 tipping trailers for this morning. As you saw earlier, the trucks are moving to head to Portville factory to what we would call sell those canes, and then they have to weigh over the trailers before they return back to Edgecombe. And we had some rain. I had 4 inches and 37 parts between the 1st of January and the end of last month, but that will not impact on the harvesting.
Mr. Mears further says 6 new varieties of hot water treated sugar canes will be harvested at his plantation this season.
I put in to do 10,300, and I believe if the crop goes well, I could do 11,500. The Commission of Inquiry into the Home Ownership Providing Energy HOPE project is coming. That's according to Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Dwight Sutherland. He says Prime Minister Mia Amo-Mottley requested the inquiry and it will happen.
The Commission of Inquiry will be carried on after the Auditor General has done his work on HOPE, and our Prime Minister insists that this is done. We have nothing to hide at HOPE. And after we have done that commission, that audit, after the Auditor General, we have given him the leeway to have the files to do what he wants to do with them, to assess them. Then the Prime Minister will converge our team, an independent team, to do what we have to do. Because for us, we want to live to see the day when the ordinary man and the ordinary woman can invest in shares in HOPE.
The 20-year transfer program of the National Housing Corporation has seen some 590 units transferred to date to tenants. The update was provided by Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Dwight Sutherland, in response to a question posed by MP for St. Michael Northwest relating to his constituents in communities, including Ferniehurst, Deacon's Farm and Rosemont. He admits there are a number of challenges with the program, which his ministry is working to address.
This relates to the infrastructure, the engineering design. We don't want to convey units that are not of a good standard. So that is why we are deliberately working on the wells program. We are deliberately working on the electrical upgrade program.
And the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Maintenance will be embarking on a project aimed at reducing the density in housing estates in the Pine St. Michael. Minister Dwight Sutherland updated the Deputy Prime Minister and MP for the area, Santia Bradshaw, revealing funds have been budgeted, the environmental impact assessment conducted, and lands identified at Lower Burney. He provided further insight into how the project will be tackled.
When we have literally moved out one section of the Pine, we intend to push down those houses once persons are indeed adequately relocated temporarily and rebuild structures. And indeed, within a 5-year period, I don't think that us in here will recognize the Pine. And we're hoping that this will solve most of your problems in terms of persons competing for spaces to live.
Leader of the opposition, Ralph Thorne, was critical of home ownership providing energy Hope project, calling on government to give account to the monies placed in the program. He gave government and the Ministry of Housing a failing grade, stating they have failed to provide the touted low-income housing solutions for Barbadians.
It is no redemption to come here and say that they've repaid $4 million. It is no redemption to come here and say that they're not part of the allocation. We understand what this government is doing. We understand that this government is attempting to atone for the sin that has been Hope. And they're allowing Hope to extricate themselves from the housing mandate in this country. Not enough of those houses are available to poor people in this country.
Meanwhile, Minister Sutherland defended the home ownership providing energy Hope project in the face of criticism leveled by opposition leader. He says Hope has significantly enhanced the housing offering to ordinary Barbadians. Minister Sutherland revealed Hope is not solely about housing, but economic empowerment, community stability, and energy independence.
Hope enables home ownership for low-income individuals who would otherwise be lifelong renters. Buyers pay only for the construction costs of the house, which are covered by loans to Hope from the Housing Credit Fund. The land and the infrastructure would be paid for by photovoltaic, the earnings from photovoltaic, and I will speak to that shortly. So in this regard, Hope has to date borrowed $60 million and has commenced its repayment to the Housing Credit Fund to the tune of $4 million. This government covers the upfront land and development expenses.
Out of the house and onto some sad news. A 27-year-old motorcyclist lost his life after being involved in an accident with a truck this afternoon. It occurred along Lodge Road in Christchurch. He has been identified by a family member as Alex Critchlow of Gall Hill, Christchurch. Police say their investigations revealed the motor lorry was exiting from Durance Road and the motorcyclist was traveling along Lodge Road when the collision occurred. The injured motorcyclist was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance, where he succumbed to his injuries. Well, coming up, we have more news, sports, and weather, so stay with us. A national debating competition might be on the horizon for students to engage in healthy competition in a drive to create the world they want to live in. That's according to Minister of Educational Transformation, Senator Chad Blackman. He says healthy competition among secondary students is encouraged. He was speaking during the 4th Annual Inter-House Debate Championships at his alma mater, Christchurch Foundation School.
Where the best minds can contend on the key topics of our generation: artificial intelligence, technology, the areas of climate change and the climate crisis, non-communicable diseases, sport, the future of sport, the future of Barbados, the future of CARICOM. How can we ensure that Africa and the Caribbean can now become two powerful regions backed by the skills and talent of our people? These are the things that you have to debate. Because why? When you leave school, this is the world that you're going into. And they always say the best way to predict the future, and never forget this phrase, and I want you to live it. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
At the end of the hour-long debate, Lynch House was announced as winners of the debate, followed by Innis House, with Skeet copping 3rd place. Principal Dr. Wendy Lewis commended the parents for their unwavering support, which she says helped students build their confidence and hone their talents. And she congratulated the students, whom she described as the heart and soul of the event, for stepping forward and using their voices and sharing their ideas.
It takes courage to speak publicly. And today, you are all winners for daring to stand tall and speak boldly. As we embark on this exciting journey of words, ideas, and inspiration, let us remember that every speech has the power to spark thought, evoke emotions, and ignite change.
The Heart and Stroke Foundation is pushing for a crackdown on marketing in schools to bid to curb the onslaught of childhood obesity. Head of the Law and Health Research Unit, Faculty of Law at the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill, Nicole Foster, is a partner in the campaign. She says with 31% of the island's children being overweight or obese, sets them up for non-communicable diseases. Ms. Foster says on this World Obesity Day, NCDs remain a serious problem. She was a guest on our TV8's Morning Barbados.
We still unfortunately have the marketing of unhealthy food and beverages in and around our schools. And when I talk about marketing, so we know the school nutrition policy has said, okay, we're not going to sell these products. You know, we're pulling these unhealthy foods and drinks and working gradually on getting them out of our schools. But that is being undermined by the marketing. And when we say marketing in and around our schools, we're not now talking about just the sale of the product. We're talking about the branded stationery. We're talking about the sponsorship of sporting and other school-related events, which speaks to the power of these messages, which still now then undermine and counteract the school nutrition policy.
Now, Ms. Foster reminded parents to make decisions in the best interest of their children, even if they're unpopular.
Have the right to health. And that implies that certain decisions have to be made on their behalf to allow them to attain the highest standard of health possible by living in conditions that support those types of choices. And what we tend to see is that when we introduce our children early to these types of decisions, then it means they take them over themselves, you know? So we're actually empowering them and helping them be their best self.
Reach out and touch at least one life. That's a plea from Member of Parliament for St. Thomas, Cynthia Ford. She urges as parishioners of St. Thomas get together for their leg of the We Gathering 2025 celebrations, that all Barbadians get back to basics. She was speaking during the multi-faith church service and courtyard social at the Lestavon Secondary School.
Our society is falling apart in ways that astound me. And I'm sure that whatever messages they give you, I expect you to take them back to your communities, your heights, your villages, and share them with the people who know no better. But they want guidance, and they will listen to you once you guide them, and they know that you are sincere. And let us work.
Representative of the Rastafarian movement, Abbott Goel, says every nation reaches its turning point, and Barbados is now at that juncture.
Let us embrace this turning point, transforming our lives and uniting as a nation for the progress of Barbados. Our diverse culture and racial backgrounds are what makes us unique, and together in unity, we will continue to build a stronger and more vibrant Barbados. If we live in the spirit of unity, then we must walk in the spirit of unity.
Well, it's time for Damien Best and sports. I'm told a familiar face is back at the helm of West Indies cricket.
Yeah, you're reading ahead. Good evening to Tisha. Good evening to our viewers and listeners. Well, Dr. Kishore Shallow has been nominated unopposed as president of Cricket West Indies to serve a second consecutive term. His vice president, Azim Basaraf, has also been nominated unopposed. Now, a media release from Cricket West Indies today said the new three-year term will officially commence on March 29th at CWI's annual general meeting in Antigua. It will mark the second successive election in which President Shallow will be elected unopposed. His nomination was put forward by the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board and the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. Meanwhile, Basaraf's nomination came from the Jamaica Cricket Association and the Windward Island Cricket Board. The nominations were confirmed back on February 27th. Well, India cruised into the final of the ICC Champions Trophy today after defeating Australia by 4 wickets in Dubai. Chasing a below par 265 in semi-final number 1, India finished on 267 for 6 with 11 balls to spare. Virat Kohli steadied the ship with 84, inclusive of 5 fours. Suresh Iyer contributed 45, and KL Rahul finished the contest unbeaten on 42. There were 2 wickets apiece for Nathan Ellis and Adam Zampa. Now, earlier, the Aussies were bowled out for 264 in 49 overs and 3 balls. Mohammad Shami impressed with 3 for 48, while Varun Chakravarti took 2 for 49 and Ravindra Jadeja 2 for 40. Captain Stephen Smith, he top scored with 73 with 4 fours and 1 6, while Alex Carey added 61. Well, India will now await the winner of the second semi-final match between New Zealand and South Africa. It starts tomorrow at 5 a.m. Barbados time. Live coverage on MCTV's ESPN channel 308. This year's Dasani Powerade Barbados Secondary Schools Athletics Championships, known as BSAC, started today at Queen's College with a number of winners in the field events. CBC's Anne-Margaret Goodrich-Boyce was there.
Time to get the BSAT show on the road for 2025 with the field events at Queen's College. All smiles for the girls under 20 discus throw. Started with 8 for the finals, and this is the bronze medalist, Jazaria Ward for the Allen School, 25.77. Well, it was close for the silver medal, but when all was said and done, the home girl delivered this, 28.79 meters for the second place for Queen's College. Now here's the winner, chasing the Carifta standard of 42 meters. She needed a big performance here. Jazaria Bavel of Comamere, can she produce the magic? Just outside the requirement, 40.22 meters, but nevertheless, congratulations. She is the senior girls discus champ. Let's go to the junior girls shot put, 8 best on offer, and more known for her talents on the track. This young lady shows that she's versatile. Rajada Hines takes the bronze with a putt of 9.86. Silver went to Sierra Burrows of the St. Michael's School, who was impressive as well, 10.11. But no one could stop Sahara Small, using the home field advantage to her benefit, and it worked, producing a winning putt of 10.14 meters. She is top of the class. Final event on our coverage, under 17 boys javelin throw. Here is your third place finisher, hailing from Courage and Parry, Jaquan Williams with 41.20 meters. Second place went to Queen's College with Seth Smith throwing 42.24. But the winner is this young man, and it was all hail Courage and Parry. The beacon upon a hill was shining bright in the west, and for good reason. Micah Harris threw 43.49 meters to sit top of the pile. Anne-Mar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sports.
Yeah, thanks, Anne-Mar. And that is the first half in Sports. Tisha's back over to you.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit. Well, coming up next on CBC's Newsnight, the Business Report. More muscle for the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. It is included among the development plans under the aegis of the Ministry of Youth and Community Empowerment. Minister Charles Griffith says notice of the plans during his contribution to the estimates debate in the Lower House. He told the Chamber the entire program is research-driven and aimed at putting young people in a ready position to take their respective places in the world of work as well as in society. On tonight's Yes Business Report, the minister tells all. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The minister said the training initiative will cover a broad spectrum and is all-encompassing and includes a national youth survey, a moving on project, as well as a mentorship program. He calls it a basket of deliverables.
The Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme we launched the Youth Business Labs in Speightstown, St. Peter this financial year, And this is an attempt by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme to provide our young people who are interested in starting their own business to have an idea from the very onset as to what it is like in order to start your own business, own your own business, and make it successful.
Certification is also coming for the YES program, and work has started with the University of the West Indies to bring the initiative to fruition.
I believe that after the intensity of a program by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme that lasts for a period of 3 months or so, that we should certify this particular program, and we have worked with the University of the West Indies to ensure that this will happen. I believe from the next cohort of persons who will be entering the YES program that they will have a certificate that is weighted in relation to the training that is happening there. In addition to that, we are hoping to move this program through the region. I know that we have been in contact with some of the directors of youth within the region to indicate to them that we have a program that can travel.
Work sessions aimed at bringing young people together for the exchange of ideas are also on the cards, and the youth camps are in the works.
We believe there's a need for us to expose those persons who are involved in their own business. So we're going to set up something that maybe once a month we will have all of the young people who are involved in their own business to come to a location and showcase the goods and services that they have to offer.
According to Minister Griffith, the YES Youth Camp should be of interest to youngsters who are interested in self-employment.
This is a constant, the YES Camp, and this is a camp that is run parallel to our national camps that will allow youngsters who, even at that early age, are interested in self-employment to be able to have a hands-on experience in relation to the world of business.
Outside of the YES program, 30 community aid groups are in place and assisting with the development of young people across Barbados. Trevor Thorpe.
An awards dinner and a community outreach program are among the events planned to mark the 200th anniversary of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, BCCI. President James Clark made the announcement while addressing a recently held Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry business luncheon and panel discussion at the Hilton Barbados Resort. Mr. Clark says a public lecture is also on the program as the Chamber reaffirms its commitment to its members and society in which it serves. He says the BCCI holds the distinction of being the oldest private sector organization in Barbados.
The BCC also plans to focus on increasing our relevance to the business community as we seek to build on the gains of 2024. We anticipate working with government directly and at the social partnership level to ensure that various regulatory reforms aimed at facilitating the ease of doing business are implemented to improve our global competitiveness and increase investment opportunities. The Chamber will also continue to provide value-added support and initiatives that will facilitate business-to-business opportunities for members to promote the services and products and grow their businesses.
Stay with us. Carrie-Ann O'Neill is next with weather. Well, Carrie-Ann O'Neill is here. Time for a look at weather.
Good evening to you, Tisha, and good evening, everyone. Well, today in Barbados, a shear line impacted the island. We had occasionally cloudy skies along with a few light showers. The winds across the region, they're moderate to breezy, and we also have those seas which are above normal. We do have a small craft advisory in effect. The maximum temperature today was 30 degrees Celsius, the minimum 23 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 25 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 82%. The winds are coming in from the southeast. We take a look now at our atmospheric conditions where those temperatures are ranging from 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows it's relatively dry across most of the islands, and those winds are moderate across the region. We take a look now at our satellite feed where the shear line maintained occasionally cloudy skies along with a few light showers here in Barbados. We had up to 2.4 millimeters of rainfall. Now the winds are generally moderate to breezy across the region. They're peaking at 25 knots for us here in Barbados, and the seas above normal. We're talking about moderate to rough in open water with swells peaking at 3 meters. We do have that small craft advisory in effect. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Now later on tonight, instability will maintain a mix of clear and cloudy skies along with some scattered showers. Further south, we do have instability there, maintaining mostly cloudy skies across the Guianas. And over now in the Western Caribbean, a shear line maintained showers across sections of the Bahamas, Jamaica, Hispaniola. We also have a trough system maintaining some showers over there in Puerto Rico. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 12 minutes after 6 and will set at 7 minutes past 6. Now the first high tide, that's expected at 7:23 in the morning. The first low at 8 minutes to 1 in the early morning. The seas are moderate to rough in open water, with swells peaking at 3 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. The winds are coming in from the east to the southeast, and they're peaking at 35 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy skies along with some scattered showers. And over the next 3 days, a mix of sunshine, clouds, and showers can be expected.
Well, Damien Best is back with more sports. Hi, Damien.
Hey, thanks so much, Tisha. Well, March 15th, 2025 is a new date earmarked for the first professional boxing card to be held in Barbados in a decade. Veteran promoter Sam Lane has teamed up with former world champion Christopher Shaka Henry for the card titled 50-50 to be held at the Queen's Park Steel Shed. It will feature 4 bouts, one of them involving Anderson Kingpin Emmanuel and the other the main bout involving Miguel Hands of Stone Antone.
Sam Lane will be part of this promotional team. While we got the experienced Anderson Kingpin Emmanuel and the very talented Miguel Hands of Stone Antone. These guys will be fighting on the card, and we look forward to some really, really big things to happen. We got some scouts coming here from the US and England to see this fight, and should both these guys win, they will have opportunities to fight overseas. So we're looking forward for some great things.
Henry said that the young boxers on the island have maintained an interest in the sport.
We got a good group, good following, and this is going to be a good card to see Kingpin and Hands of Stone, who have an excellent record. We sparred before a lot of times. He actually came up under me, so you know they're going to do a good performance. And I'm just asking the Bajan public to come out. Don't miss this. Don't miss this one. You might encourage me to come back out and fight.
And the boxers themselves say they have been training hard and are eager to get back into the ring.
I was already ring for a couple of years, missing again for a little bit, but you know when you miss something, you like to say, I'm back. Yeah. My opponent, we fought many times, is Revlin, that's his name. Yeah. Revlin Late, that's it, forget his name. Yeah. Revlin Late. My last fight, he due to injury, but I don't want to send an injury. He actually win the last fight. So I'm here to take back that. I was training very hard for this, and you know, I always want to show my fans what I can do. Instead of hearing about me on the radio, hearing about me in the paper, hearing about me on the news, and fighting overseas, and people here back home is not really getting a chance to see what I can do. Well, people see what I can do already in amateur times, but I want my fans to see what I can do. The professional times now, to bring my experience and knowledge and stuff into professional boxing in Barbados.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Well, as you heard earlier, the Power 8 Dasani BSAT Championships got underway today with the field events, but tonight's athlete in the spotlight is more known for his exploits on the track.
It's time for Athlete in the Spotlight, where we take a look at some of the track and field stars expected to dominate at the Power 8 Dasani BSAT Championship. Got his first taste of the Carifta Games last year. I was the 5th best under-17 boy at 400 meters in the Caribbean. Aidan Moore is one of the biggest names in junior track and field on the island since his days at the St. Cyprian's Boys School. Now he's the talk of the town and king of Crumpton Street at Harrison College. And though so talented, the sprinter is also humble and soft-spoken. He told us about his goals for BSAT 2025.
What is it that Aidan Moore wants to achieve for BSAT? What is the targets that you've been setting?
For the faster time at BSAT, obviously, carry up the competition,
and represent the school.
Perfect. I know for Carifta last year, you represented Barbados in Grenada. You made the final of your event, which in itself is a very good achievement. Let's go back now to Grenada, Aiden. What lessons you learned from Grenada, what you would say?
I would say this time I won't be as nervous going into the final. I'm scared. I like the atmosphere and the competition you get. It's a really good learning experience.
Aiden, like any other teenager, has got to make a few sacrifices to excel on the track.
Talk to me about the sacrifices that you make to be so brilliant at track and field.
Can't be at home watching a lot of TV, seeing with friends, can't go with friends, can't play as much games, stuff like that.
And for Aiden, support is everything, and he's got that in the best form.
Wherever you go, it's mommy, daddy, there's your sister as well. Sharissa, she was a former athlete as well. Talk to me about, the impact and the circle really in terms of your family and how big of an impact they have in terms of you doing so well for your athletics career.
And they're really supportive. They're always there for me. They make sure I'm ready and I'm good to go.
Our athlete in the spotlight is Aiden Moore. That was your athlete in the spotlight, where we took a look at some of the track and field stars expected to dominate at the Powerade Dasani BSAT Championships.
Yeah, you can tune in on Thursday night for another episode. That is it for sports. For me, back over to you, Tisha.
Hey, thank you so much, Damien. Good work with the school kids. Absolutely love it. We'll return after this break. Thanks for spending your time with us. On behalf of the entire crew, have a good evening.